Well, this is something that's a little bit of departure from our normal channel of talking about bourbon and traveling across the United States, but it's also a little bit controversial because I recently purchased this vehicle. It was a Jeep Wagoneer S. And if you don't know anything about the Jeep Wagoneer S, purchasing this vehicle used is a little bit of a risk. These came out in 2024. It's on a brand new platform. It's a completely electric vehicle. Really the first fully electric vehicle that Jeep really has put into the United States. It's built on the same platform as the Dodge Charger Daytona EV, just different. I mean, the frame and the chassis is the same. Obviously the sheet metal is different. Same architecture though. And both of those vehicles had a horrible start. It is objectively clear that neither one of those vehicles were really ready to be released and were completely pushed into the public and just doomed from the start. However, I was curious about these vehicles all the time. We have had Chrysler plug-in hybrids, starting with a Pacifica to a 4xe Jeep Grand Cherokee, and really thought there were some benefits to that. So thinking about buying an electric vehicle was something I kind of had in the back of my mind. This vehicle over here is my Jeep Gladiator. This is a 2021 Jeep Gladiator that I've had since new. It's got almost 80,000 miles, and this is what I have been commuting to work in every day for, well, ever since I bought it new. And it gets about 20 miles to the gallon. My commute is about 60 miles round trip. And I love this truck, I want to keep this truck. We'll drive it till the end of time, but I don't want to keep putting those commuter miles onto it. So since it's paid for and ready, wanted to replace it and looked at this. I started looking at the value of these. And I kept seeing these very slightly used models go for pretty cheap money. This had a sticker price of about $67,000. Now, very few people paid that. They were heavily reduced, and they also had the EV tax credits and incredible lease deals just to get them out the door. So this was probably most likely a short-term leased vehicle, but it also had problems. These had huge software issues where they would lock up and just be unusable and have to get flat towed to dealerships, which is another huge thing. They would sit in dealerships forever without recalls, and it was just, I do not deny that people who bought these new in 24 and 25 had some horrible experiences. But as I watched, there were updates and recalls, and there seemed to be a point where most of the problems were fixed, but people were still very upset at the cars and scared to buy them. And that's when I started to think these things are starting to get undervalued and probably might be a little bit of a deal. Now, my original plan was to wait until the fall of 2026 to get them, and I really thought the prices would be down for like a 10,000 mile car, might be down to about even $25,000. And I'm not sure that's still going to happen, but I don't think $28,000 is out of the realm of possibility. And I'm not talking lemon law buyback. I'm talking about cars that have been turned in, low miles from leases, people getting to the end of their leases and wanting to get rid of them, or people that just want to get out of their leases because they've had horrible experiences with the car. So I started looking, and then obviously we had some gas price things, and I wouldn't say that the prices rebounded, but they kind of steadied. And I thought maybe this is the time to kind of get into one of these vehicles. So I went ahead and purchased. We got this one in Iowa, about 200 miles away from where we live in Nebraska. I paid, let me pull it up so that I get it exactly right. We paid $33,762 for a vehicle that had 7,400 miles on it. And it went in service 11 months before we purchased it. So the guy who had it for 11 months. So it's got 2 years and 1 month of the bumper-to-bumper warranty left, and then plenty of miles. So how's this car been for us? Well, we've had it for about 3 weeks. When we bought it, it had 7,400 miles on it. Now it has almost 9,200 miles on it. We just did a trip to register my daughter for college. That was a long enough trip that we did have to charge it at a fast charger on the way. It's been great. It's super quiet. I think it's super comfortable. It's got plenty of power. The features are great. We've had absolutely no issues with it. A couple of things that I will just say right off the bat to think about, and that is think of it as a computer. This is one of the pieces of advice that people have given me, and I think it's a really good one. You can't just push the button, put it in drive, and go away. Wait for it to really fully load everything up. I did have it, I went into the settings, and you can have a setting pop up or a screen pops up that says ready to drive. I really try to wait for that to come on. That does seem to take longer than I think it needs to. Definitely different than an ICE vehicle where you push it, you hear it start, you drop it and drive and you go. The only time I've ever had an issue is one time I put it into drive and I looked down and it was no longer in drive. And I realized that I had put it in drive before the car had really booted up. So think of it as a computer more than a car. But other than that, it's been a great car. Obviously, early stages. We're going on a long vacation. We're not taking this, and that's because the trip wasn't really planned with charging. So we're going to take our 4xe so we can just run gas and run long distances. But I think for our next long trip, I will probably want to take this vehicle and just plan it out and do a road trip in this. But I'm going to give some updates on this as things happen, and I promise if there are any issues, the first thing I will do is pop up a video, and then at key milestones, I'll make a video as well. I really think that the Dodge Dodge Daytona EV and the Wagoneer S are very undervalued. There totally is a risk. This may bite me in the ass, but I do think that these vehicles, at the price they're going for used, with only a few thousand miles on them, is a real sweet spot in the market that I think if people are willing to take a little bit of a risk, and maybe if you have a backup car to drive in case something happens, I think it's a really good deal.